back.
Hey, look at we're here for nobody right now.
Marcos, did you scare everybody off? Did you tell everybody don't show up?
That's 5. All right, boys, girls, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Automotive Podcast, Season 11.
Season 1. Episode 11.
All right. I say episode 11. Yeah, I was all right. I've heard feedback in my ear because I was making sure that we were broadcasting on your channel, and I forgot to mute the feed. So real professional. Anyway, welcome in, guys. The whole crew is here again, and then tonight we have Mr. Marcos Cruz down there in the bottom Hollywood Square for a whole bunch of techniques and discussion about, I'm sure, painting and finishing models and things like that. And then Mr. Svensson's back from his trip, and James is being lectured on material safety data sheets by people on YouTube on his 3D printing, and I'm just hanging out and controlling the live button here. So let's go around the room with our usual thing. Sean, since you were not here the last time, what's been going on with you recently?
Let's see. I am slowly picking away at box art build for the Mobius Custom 71 4x4 pickup. So
nice.
I'm probably about 90% finished with that, and the box art's about 90% done. Instructions are done. I need to finish up the decal artwork and try and get that shipped off by the end of the month or so.
Did you detail paint that gun for the gun rack?
I am. Yes, I'm working on the guns.
I love the artwork on that thing too. That's just badass.
Thanks. Have you seen it yet? Does it get posted somewhere?
Well, you're not talking about the tow truck, right?
No, I'm talking about no. This is the custom 4x4 pickup. That'll be.
No, I haven't seen that now.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say. Sometimes I'll ship that off to the guys, and it ends up on the internet, so I never know. So.
Okay.
I don't think anybody's seen these. I haven't even shown the James duo yet.
Now I know what it is because it's been floating around in test shots for a while, but yeah, I've not seen the actual World of Wheels box art yet.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm pretty proud of it. It's kind of a neat. Well, you'll see it in probably the next episode or so.
Cool.
I'm gonna say it's like a day 2 truck. Right, it's got the custom wheels in it.
Yeah, high lift suspension. It's got roll bar, push bumper with a winch, and the gun rack with hunting equipment.
It'll be a real popular south of the Mason-Dixon line seller, is what you're saying.
Yeehaw.
Mr. Chester, the world of 3D printing.
I tell you what, man, I did a couple of videos on the YouTube channel about 3D printing. It just kind of blew up. I didn't really expect it to go that far, but somebody messaged me today and scolded me for touching things that I shouldn't have touched with bare hands, and I should have been wearing gloves, and I should have been wearing shoes, and blah 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 blah. So I wrote a little blurb in the description of each video to say, "I'm an idiot. Don't be like me. Be safe."
Well, that's a good idea for a new video. Then you can do on 3D printing safety.
There you go. Show people the right way to do it.
That's right. I enjoyed those videos a lot, though. They were pretty informative, actually. I was glad you did those.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I found the build plate building in Chitterbox there. That was the interesting part to me. I mean,
okay,
the thing goes, and something comes out of it. I got that part. It's the arranging the parts and build and
setting
and all that. That's the part was it's sort of black magic, right? Everybody's all like, "Wow, yeah, you just throw it on the build plate and I have a kit." And it's like, well, there's something going on there. Like it does. I know enough to know that file doesn't magically organize itself and put itself in supports and all that. So seeing that process and what it is, I think that's going to be helpful to a lot of people.
Yeah, I like the fact that you took the time to show how you get from downloading a file to actually something that you could hold in your hands and
Yeah, man.
step and like what James was saying, describing all the nuances of what you have to go through to get a quality print. So I think
Oh.
that's
Mm-hmm.
video.
Right.
Informative.
I'm going to compare water wash resin to standard resin next. They're both 8K resins, but I'm going to compare the two. I grabbed some high detail engine files, and so I'm going to print those out, and we'll see if one stands above the other in quality.
I also enjoyed your clear parts and vacuum forming trials and tribulations.
That was a fail, but yeah, thank you.
Yeah, but I mean, it's good. I mean, even though it's a fail, it's the process. Like, I think it's helpful for people to understand this is an iterative thing to learn a new skill. You have to set your expectation that you have to make some eggs and make some before you can make an omelet. You have to take some time to
figure it out,
experiment with
right.
it, learn it out, figure it out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But by watching somebody else do it, it helps. Like, oh, I can learn from your mistakes. I don't have to repeat a lot of the same things, and so I think it's good.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Marcos,
I'll figure it out.
What do you have? What do you dabbling with on your bench right now? What's the current creations?
Well, I just finished that Porsche that I was doing. I had it at the show yesterday. I was telling Mr. Duff that we had the September show down yesterday, and I just finished that. But I started a '66 Impala, the Lindbergh '66 Impala. I've always liked that Chevelle. He's a very nice kid, and I decided to. I'm trying to do a tutorial for the magazine for Auto Model. I think it is the new name.
The new one, yeah.
So yeah, I emailed Scott Coleman because he's, they're always interested in contributions. So I told him, well, I've been contributing to the magazines for a little while. So if you're interested, I might be able to come up with something. And I saw the '66 Impala, and I said, you know what, let's probably do a little vinyl top tutorial, because I mean, people still have a million questions about it. And then you got this tape issue, and then you got this texture paint issue, and some people don't like the other one, and this. So I thought it was kind of nice, that you'll probably be interested in. He hasn't given me the okay, but he's interested in a contributor. So if he doesn't want it, then he'll lose out.
I saw the picture today. That was beautiful. Beautiful.
Oh yeah, you saw. I did post the picture of it. Yeah,
I happen to see that too. Is that are you using the tape method or paint?
No, I don't do the tape method, and of course, respecting everybody else's opinions. I just don't like it. It just doesn't look right, at least in my opinion, my humble opinion. So I just do the all I do is just I just mix enamels. I use half of flat black and half of semi-gloss black, because I don't want it to be too shiny, but not too dull either. And I'll go ahead and just put a couple of dots of lacquer thinner and just shoot from afar, and I get the perfect texture for that.
Yeah.
The guy from MCW, Michael Guest, is probably gonna kill me because I was using his texture paint. And when he saw the picture, he was like, I think I'm gonna have to mix a lot of it, because he's thinking that I use his bottle, his paint, but he's gonna be in for a little surprise. I still prefer my method. I just kind of perfected it a little bit more. I think it's more convincing.
I agree. I agree.
That's the method I've used too when I've done a vinyl top, is kind of just spraying from afar.
Yeah.
And let the paint just sort of fall on the model and sort of settle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
How do you do the seams? What's your technique for usually?
I use the the plastic strips.
Okay.
I just put it on the top. I do have a video on YouTube. There it is. I do have a video on YouTube on how to do it. But I just take the strips and I'll put them on the top, and then from the center out, in the center, I'll just go ahead and shoot a little bit of a heavy primer, because you have to you have to make sure you see that outer seam. It's very important that you see that little seam. And I see a lot of guys doing the vinyl tops, and again, not criticizing. And they're just putting the strip on there, and then they just put their texture on it. But you only see 2 strips at the top. You're not seeing that seam. It's an overlap. So I kind of sand it from the inside in, and that's how I get my the method going.
Nice.
And that's not an Impala.
No, that's a Chevelle. Did I say Impala?
Yeah.
First, you said Lindbergh, and I knew exactly what you meant.
Yeah, 66 Lindbergh. That's Chevelle. Oh my God, what did I say Impala for? Oh my God. See, you guys got me all nervous with this video stuff, man.
Oh man, we're just hanging out at the show. It's just
So yeah, it's a 66 Lindbergh, and of course I still got a foil. It looks like it's foiled because I painted it silver.
Okay.
But I still have to foil it, of course. Foil it and do the rest of the stuff. I'm not gonna put an engine on it because it's just for a tutorial. So,
Nice.
We'll see how it goes.
Is that just going to be the rest of it? Is the rest of it going to be stock, or are you building it custom or street machine? Or
I'm using the. Do you guys remember the AMT 70.5 Chevelle? The nice, the Kragers that used to come with the Kragers and the nice white tires in the back for
Camaro.
The Camaro. Remember those nice,
the Baldwin Motion one, right?
Yeah, that's it. I'm using those tires and the Kragers with it. Yeah,
nice. Sort of a 70s.
A little bit different, yeah. Nice. I was gonna go with rallies, but I've done so many rallies already. I got bored with the rallies. I still love them, but I'm just gonna go with the Kragers. Then again, I've used so many Kragers. I don't know why I'm saying that, but it's getting there. It's getting there. Let me see what Scott says about it.
It will get some 18s and low profile tires.
I was thinking about that too, but I'm not a big rim guy. These guys are crazy about these Zimmerman wheels and stuff like that, and they look nice. I'm not saying they don't. I'm just not a low profile and big ass rim tire guy. I'm just not. I like I love muscle cars. So I like that old, vintage touch to them, and I'm not crazy about big rims.
I got you.
All right, and I have been cleaning parts on a Porsche. That's pretty much
Which Porsche, James?
The RSR.
For the Porsche build?
Ooh.
I have to do that. I'm supposed to do that Alpha Models one, for the group build for the Porsche thing. But yeah, I got the oh crap! I can go where the box top.
The new.
Yeah, the new kit.
Pink one.
The pink pig one. And so I'm gonna do the Brumos livery because it'll take me too long to get the paint here because I'd like to get that done by the end of the month for our show out here in Pittsburgh. And so I took the easy cheap way out of it's a white car, yay! And so there's only like 85 pieces of that decal sheet for that front little girl thing there. Hey, look here. When you stop being on medical disability and you could post on YouTube, you can talk.
We love you, Frank.
Yeah, say Mr. Frank. I tried to throw him on the other day, and I was like, "Do we count as a commercial thing for your workers' comp?" Or, all right. The internet's gonna forget about you, man. The internet's gonna forget about you. Yeah, like just trying to figure out like best practices on that. There's a lot of carbon fiber to that chassis, and trying to figure out what needs to be put on before I can assemble it. Because obviously I want to get before I put that big honking, because there are people here last week, remember that I showed off the carbon sheet, and there's that big giant honking carbon piece that goes from the bottom of the would basically be the driver's cell, and I don't want that to touch the ground, right? I want to have the wheels on it so that once that's decaled, it's always off the ground and it's not going to rub against the workbench, and stuff like that. So there's some stuff on like inner fender wells that'll have to be done, but I think I can get all the rest of the suspension parts on and then carbon fiber it rather than trying to carbon fiber it and then build around it and not guck it up with my big fat fingers of clumsiness. So that's the game plan. I need to have it because I think I might actually if I can, so long somebody doesn't come in and tell me I'm doing all the material safety things wrong, 2K that, because I think that those decals are on the real one being a wrap. It's, you need the thing to be a uniformly shiny or glossy finish. So, I mean, sure that I'm going to do it completely wrong and probably apply it without the right PPE.
Mm-hmm.
And, but I know that you have to, you're letting your stuff dry for what, five days a week before you polish it out, right, James? Your 2K?
I usually at least 2 days, at least.
Yeah, so I'm sort of working backwards, right? I know when I have to have it done by, so I know when the final assembly has to be done by, so I know when the clear has to go on, so I can polish it by that, and so it has to be painted by the end of this week coming in order to get the 2K on it, and then have it be dry enough to hopefully do something with. Or maybe I'll just set it on fire and throw it out because I'll make a huge mess out of it, being the first, the old adage, right? Let's do something to a working project that you've never done before. So we'll see. So I not like I don't have 11 more of them coming if I jack the body up, but so maybe there'll be a Porsche to show you. Maybe there won't be. We'll see. Let's see.
Dean says Marcos Porsche was at the show yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen. Have I seen that? Is it silver or is it red?
No, that's the racing white one, the one I just finished with the red interior.
I don't know that I've seen that, dude.
Yeah, posted it.
I don't know that I've seen it.
Yeah. That thing is still in the case in the box that I took to the show, so it's gonna take me a long time to get it out of there. I would have shown it to you, but yeah, it's still in the case.
Do you have photos of that, Mr. Duff?
I do
He probably has a picture of it, Duff, Mr. Duff there.
Well, where did you post it at? I can pull it from
I did post it on my Facebook page on my wall. At some point you'll see it, but you're gonna have to go down pretty much. I should have given you all those pictures before we even did the video.
Oh, it's okay. Oh, I'm sorry. You said 356. I'm looking for a 9. I'm looking. You said racing.
It's a 356.
The enthusiast
red interior tan top. So this is
oops.
Hang on. Everything about StreamYard works until it doesn't. Let's see. It would be. I feel like we should have the girl of Ipanema play in the background for the waiting room, but that would be it. Yes.
And there it is.
Oh,
yes, God. There it is.
I really said I can't scramble Facebook fastly.
Yes,
I know I haven't seen that yet. I know I haven't seen that
one. I thought you always see my stuff in Facebook.
I don't know how I missed it, man. That's beautiful.
That's a good kit.
It was posted a month ago.
The enthusiast old ass mold. That thing is it's a headache to put together, man. You have to test fit all those parts so many times, and it still doesn't
200,
go together
200, 300 pieces. 200, 300 pieces.
Almost 300 pieces.
Wow.
I mean, that's the one that has that crankshaft that it's never gonna be seen after you build it. It's incredible. I mean, in my opinion, the best kits are from the Enthusiast series, the most realistic when you finish them. There's just something about them that they just look so beautiful, man. There's a guy in our club, what's his name? JZ Regner. He does them. He loves them, but he always brings them to the shop or to the meetings, and he's still working with them and stuff like that. But he does so many things to them. He's a master when it comes to working with those things, man. I love his work.
Wow.
But this one, I added a couple of little things, like toggle switches from an aftermarket company and some switches from another. It doesn't have the regular little buttons on them, like the ones you usually paint with the silver and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I decided to use a photo etch center for the wheel, for the steering wheel.
Nice.
And the rims, those rims go on this little hub that has these 5 protruding little. I know you've seen them. They just
lug
go
nuts.
around
Yeah.
and you see them.
Yeah.
but it just doesn't look right. So what I did, I just ordered the studded pins from RB Motion, and I just put the little studs on there instead of just the dark thing protruding from inside the actual rim. And not
Did you
much. I didn't
custom
do
mix
much.
that red?
Yeah, that's actually Tamiya flat red with a couple of drops of black to darken it, because I was gonna use fire engine red, which I usually have around there. Last time I had a bottle was from Gravity. It was old, so it was dry, and I needed something quick, and I just mixed the color, darkened it a bit. And what I did with the seats is that I scrubbed them very deeply, and I washed them. And after I washed them, then I just hit it with the color, and it gives you more of a three-dimensional look, instead of just the boring, just to create a little bit of interest in there.
So you put the black into the grooves before you painted it red?
Exactly what I do with my panel lines on the body. Exactly what I do, but I go like very.
Ooh. Let me write that down.
On the body, I go so deep that you actually start seeing the knife coming out on the other side. And when I see the knife just coming out, of course, I'm not going to go through the whole thing. And then I'll go ahead and wash it, just black wash it. And after that, I don't have to touch that body ever again. I mean, no primer, no paint, no base coat, no clear, nothing goes in those panel lines. I don't have to touch it again, ever. That's how good that little system is. And what I like about it is that when you look at panel lines on a real car, if you start going sideways on the car, like in an angle, they kind of disappear a little bit, because of course, you're actually seeing the depth of the line. So when you go sideways, I want people to actually see that instead of just painted panel lines. They never really look right. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. But it was a labor of love. This was actually for the Lucas C Porsche build.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they said they want to do a Porsche build. I said, well, I'm going ahead and do it, and I picked this one, the hard one. So,
oh, not 5 snap tight. That's like somebody else we know.
Yeah, the guys at the show kept on saying that they thought it was a die cast. It's a Cruz. There's no die cast. You can't be bringing die cast into the show. It's okay. I don't know if it's a compliment or it was something else, but it was at the show, and I lost by one stupid point. Probably I lost to a real good guy, though. I lost to a really good guy. It was fun. It was a fun show always. Mm-hmm.
So we talk about this all the time. Do you prefer NNL or contests?
I prefer contests. There's so many opinions about that, and I don't want to get in trouble. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Let me put it this way. I like for another modeler to judge my work, not a guy that comes out of the street and likes a racing white color on a car and votes because he liked the color. He's not looking more into the car. You know what I'm saying? I just like the judge shows more. I don't like the fact when they have to pick up your car and look at it, but it's definitely better than the NNL East type shows.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Maybe I just stand alone.
Oh, you like more the NNL type?
I do. I don't like to compete.
I think the NNLs serve their place. I mean, the NNL East, that's a great, it's a great social gathering. I mean, it's.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I love it.
Hang out with people you only see once a year and spend the
Mm-hmm.
whole day talking models.
Yeah,
exactly.
There's room for everybody. I think there's room for all kinds of, both types of shows. I appreciate like Marcos and, Randy Durr and some other guys there, competitive, model builders that are really interested in building to a level that, they want to be judged and like that competitive aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. I think for Mr. Tester and myself, we're like, that's not what motivates us, and that's fine too. It's just a different building style.
Oh, look at that. So cute.
Yeah. Let's get that done.
Mr. Duff as a friend.
Yeah, say the first appearance. Hobby cat in a
Hobby
while. Well, I mean, you guys, can't think what the acronym for MAMA even stands for right now, but you guys ran an NNL. So,
Mama.
yeah, say Mid Atlantic there, that's an NNL.
Yeah.
Are you still part of that club, Marcus?
Yes, I am. I'm still with the Maryland Automotive Modelers Association. Yep. I love my club, man. I also belong to the one that I just came out of the show. Was it today's what? Monday, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yesterday. They're from the Central PA Model Club. I also belong to that. I'm actually closer to them than the actual Mama one, but I started with the Mama Club. But I also belong to the CPMCC Club. I just haven't been there in about a year and a half.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just haven't found the time to go by and hang out with the guys once a month.
How long have you been in that club?
Wow, I've been here in Maryland almost 30 years, probably 16, 17 years now, probably 18, something like that. I've been with them for a while. I started again
like
with
your
Mama.
brothers.
Yeah, I've been there for a while.
I always have a fun time with the Central Pennsylvania guys when I see them. Because you guys, your club's in Central Pennsylvania, but you have a show in Philadelphia. Do you not know where the middle of Pennsylvania is? Because that's not it. That's Eastern Pennsylvania. If that show is in Carlisle or somewhere around York where they're actually at, that would be an easy show to get to. But they put
yeah, they're a great bunch of guys. They are really, really good, cool bunch of guys. Yeah, really cool.
All right, so let's have a fun little topic here that Marcos can throw himself into as he sees fit. We have September kits, so
cool
things you'll be spending your money on this month, maybe. Let me get this up and running. Take Mr. Marcos' awesome Porsche down, and so this could be just a little sort of shoot through. I didn't organize these, but starting over at Hasegawa. Oh, look, guys, it's Nissan factory colors. So this is a Nissan Pulsar. I love Hasegawa. You guys watch my channel know because I've got to fill every single inch of that header bar. Right? Everything has to have a word up there. So basically, what this is the rally prep version of the street car. Like anything in rally, you have to have so many of them, in homogenization to get into, this was Group N and Group A at the time. So this was a car that you could buy out of a Nissan dealership. Technically, it wasn't really supposed to be used for street use. You're supposed to rally it. It came with a roll cage and everything in it already. This was like ready to roll, but it was literally sold by Nissan as literally called the Nismo Complete Car because it was a complete car for rallying. This is sort of a merger of the two existing kits. Hasegawa's done a street version of the Pulsar and they've done a rally version, so they've just sort of taken the parts of the two and crammed them all into one box. And they did this with the four-door little Sentra E kind of Nissan same thing, where they released one that was a rally prep car. So that's what this is.
Cool.
Imagine being at the dealership and saying, I think I'm going to order that Nismo Complete car and just drive it on the street.
Oh my God.
Probably like the Copo Camaro guys or something.
So this is something you would see street driven at this point because obviously it's many decades out of rallying, but at the time it was like it's street legal, but we wouldn't recommend it because it's sprung for rally racing. It's not going to have the greatest ride across the railroad tracks, but that's coming. That's just sort of decals in a box combination thing. Let's see. All right, so Fujimi is going to reissue their Honda Civic late version of the Type R, and you're getting a new body out of this for some reason. This kit was tooled up sometime in the 90s, and there's always just been an early version, a late version of the EG6 Civic where the bumper was a difference, but for some reason, I don't know, because Fujimi is the most secretive place on the planet, basically, why this suddenly needs a whole new body tooling. The rest of it belongs to this. This is the rest of the kit, basically. So, I mean, it's decent kit in terms of everything. You can always steal the the left-hand drive out of this and make a Type R look car, not put the actual right-hand drive in. But yeah, I guess it's like I said, it's a pretty decent curbside kit for what it is, and now there's a new body, so yay, I guess. For the Honda aficionados who probably always sat there and gone, that Fujibi kit's crap because that early body and that late body are nothing alike. You can rest assured that you get a whole new body for it. I think this headlight area was also different, and they've never actually fixed that in the previous kit, but be what it is. There you go. Finally, we're going to get the new tool version of the GR86 from Aoshima. There are 2 of these. The white box art car is the factory stock one. The red box art car comes with the set of Advan wheels, and that's literally the only.
I like that.
Between the 2.
Yeah.
I have, in looking at these, the firewall is separate. The scuttle panel, where your windshield wipers mount, is separate. So theoretically, at some point in the future, they could do an export version of this and make it left-hand drive if they want to. The engine is molded into the top of the chassis, and it's into the body between the fender wells, sort of the way that the
Tamiya Skyline.
GTR, the Tamiya GTR, the R35 one was.
Yeah.
Where you just put a couple of pieces on the top to finish the engine out.
Yeah.
The big difference this had, back in the day with the original BRZ was the fact that the Aoshima one had like a 20-piece engine. It was missing the transmission, but it was the whole engine. This is almost what Tamiya gives you as it is, because Tamiya's 86s were that way, where the engine was there and you just sort of put the top of it on.
Mm-hmm.
Without this big left-hand drive, I'm not sure what the appeal is to this. Like, this is sort of duplication of efforts, because this is the Tamiya kit in a different box kind of thing. I know the trunk is still open on this, which I guess if you wanted to throw a subwoofer in the back kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I'm currently at this moment in disappointment, because like having the left-hand drive version, I would have bought one, because all of the wide body stuff that exists out there for the 86s all fits the Tamiya kit. And whether or not that would fit the Aoshima kit or not, then you'd have to be like, sanding stuff and yuck. Who wants to do modeling when I can just slap stuff together? So, yeah, I mean, if you look at the history of the Aoshima R35 GTR that they did, there was always like a North American or an export version of it done later that came with the whole 5 pieces that make that kit left-hand drive. So maybe we see that with this, because with the firewall being separate and the flipping the battery and the brake booster side to side is the big difference on the engine compartment of the 86s. Maybe, but as it stands right now, no. So, and as James and I talked about, this kit's $5 more expensive than the Tamiya one for some reason. So that's not even like it's cheaper. We'll buy the cheaper one. No, actually, it's not. So buyer beware, or be impressed, depending. Hey, it's more stuff from whatchamacallit here. What is I always forget the name of this TV show. People in the comments will scream it out, but I'll have already looked it up. There are the 3 The Machines from this, and come on, load faster.
It's a police car, right?
Yeah, it is a police car, but it's from that series. It's the same series that goofy Gullwing Z.
Okay.
Yes, Saibu Kiasatsu.
Saibu.
So there's the machine one, which was, I always thought, this is literally until they did the printing on this, I always thought these 3 were the same car, just at different time periods within the show. But no, this is the Pursuit and Attack Command vehicle, and then this one is the intelligence vehicle, I guess, because it's very intelligent. Mount your flashing lights on the gas pillar door, and then this one is like the intelligence gathering vehicle, because it's got this janky ass VHS Betamax video camera hanging off the side of the car.
Betamax.
So yeah, they're all 1982 Nissan Skylines. They're all it's the same base kit and all these. It's just a variety of police equipment. We'll use some air quotes for that that come with these. So yeah, I mean, this is another one of these things where it's the 40th anniversary of the thing, so we're doing anniversary kits. These are all things that Aoshima has done in the past. We're just throwing them back out here, I guess, for the SGs of the purposes. This was supposed to come out last month, but it just showed up this month. It is a Fujimi Toyota Mark II Tour with this giant goofy wing on the back of it and the R34 rims. Make of that what you will. Speaking of licensed properties, Aoshima is going to be releasing the previous, aka the good one with the engine in it, 86s in the MF Ghost boxings here. So there can be two of these straight out out of the gate. One of them is sort of the intro. I think it's like the volume 1 of the manga, where it was the the backstory of this guy and why this is almost tofu racing, but no, not quite. And then there's this one, which is the volume 9 of the series. From my understanding, this is actually the one that's currently. I mean, I know James has shown me pictures out of this. I don't know if he knows. Like, this is like the one that's actually in production right now. Like, this is the current storyline. Is this one? Yeah. So that's kind of fun. Where you're buying something that's not from the past. It's not the 40th anniversary of this.
Yeah.
This is the current in production manga. You get this little drone that comes with the kits. So
oh, really? It comes with the drone.
Drone might be worth the purchase price of another 86. You can always throw a wide body on the 86. This one does come with a giant, carbon fiber black decal thing, and so it's actually the same Advan wheels as the other kit. But yeah, it's. I can see where Japanese market this is going to be real popular with them, because obviously this is an in production like thing.
It's an ongoing manga.
Use a little more youthful than a traditional model or would in theory. So that's going to be available.
Can I ask? I've never seen that show. Is that the animation style of the show? Is that the way?
It's a book, right? Yeah, I don't think it's a actual TV show at this point.
This is the manga.
So it's like a comic book sort of thing.
Yes, yeah.
Graphic novel.
Yeah, but they also did it. They actually did it in cartoon-ish. I can't remember what channel it was on, but it's available.
Okay.
All right. So next up, Tyranno Lift Up. Everybody will recognize this as being the Pathfinder. That's not really a Pathfinder because there are no Pathfinder decals in it, but it still has a left-hand drive in it. This is the second one of these. They've gone back and thrown in the bigger jacked up suspension onto, where it's not the colossally jacked up one. It's just a little bit off-road. I like this. This box art sells this kit to me if I didn't already have one, because they did the Hilux Surf, the Forerunner in this same style with the blacked out rims and everything like that. For some reason, this kit doesn't come with all the off-road crap that it usually did, but yeah, that's neither here nor there. There's 3D printing for all that if you really wanted to put it back in there. I really wish they would just suck it up and license it as a Pathfinder. I mean, I know the American Satco kits existed. Those decals are long since toast. Those things were new when I was still in high school. And it's like 5 pieces of decal. Is Nissan that hard-assed about their licensing? Because it has left-hand drive parts in them. Those were parts in the kit. Those weren't like a lot of the Satco stuff was resin aftermarket. The left-hand drive dashes and stuff are plastic. They're in this kit as it is, because I think the Tyranno was sold under that name outside of Japan. So there's that. Back over Hasegawa, we have Zuzu Gemini here with the front aero bumper. This big clunky thing down here. This is a 3D printed piece. It took an ugly car and turned it worse, in my opinion. But I guess this is a typical Hasegawa, right? The kit's been around for 2 years, so now we start throwing resin into it and calling it a new kit. So if you so desire, yay. This car in real life is actually pretty interesting, because like they literally did have Lotus come in and tune like the handling of the suspension on this car. Hot hatches of the 1980s, crazy things were done.
Was this sold in America? I can't remember. There was a Geo something.
This was Chevy Spectrum would have been what this was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was saying it technically yes, but not quite. So this is Fujimi again. This is
I built that one. That's a nice one.
This RX-7. So this is going to be another one of the high society kits. So you see down here on the bottom, we're talking about sticking your chewing gum.
I know already.
So yeah, you get your rib for your pleasure chewing gum on over here. But of course, we got the screws we got to beat into the chassis because, folks, looky, we're back over here with one of these standardized chassis. So while you be like, oh no, not that one they've been talking about. No, this chassis is the one that goes underneath the 3rd gen Supra. So a 3rd gen Supra and a Mazda RX-7 clearly are the same width, length, and every dimension. So yeah, but
that's awful.
I do appreciate the fact that battery box is still in it, and then you've got like this extra, James Bond turn around with the evil cat seat thing going on there, and I mean it is what it is.
Awful.
I guess having the wheels in it would be different. Like the Tamiya kit of this is so much better. I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah.
And to me, it did a reissue of the Savannah not that long ago, where this really needs to be rolled back out. But it's probably gonna be $12. It's gonna be the cheapest RX-7 you can buy. So,
right.
As it is, this one is something I actually have ordered, even though I know what I'm getting here because I want this sheet of decals. This is
because it's a race car.
Yes, exactly. This is a 1984 Toyota 11. This would have been one of 2 team cars that, in the very, very early days of what will become Japanese touring car, were actually, this just shows you how far that things went. These were the dominant cars of the series that year, before like all the rest of the real race cars showed up. So this has the new chassis that they tooled up. It has what they call the easy alignment system, where you can tilt and camber and all the things for wheels. So that at least improves the chassis portion of this. This up here is still not the greatest because you've only got really what amounts to the back half of a roll cage in it, and this whole interior and everything's always been sort of been compromised because Fujimi offered the coupe, the 3-door version of this, and this interior and chassis had to fit both of them because God forbid why would you tool separate parts or something like that. And I mean, like I said, I'm going to take the decal sheet and put it on an Aoshima 11.
Mm-hmm.
Over at
I like that.
This is another
I like that
recombination.
little thing.
Yeah, this is another recombination of parts. So you're taking a lot of the racing pieces out of the Civic they did that was like a little touring car and putting it into the street version with a new. I'm not sure where those wheels actually come from. They're not. I don't think they're new, but they're not. They weren't in the kit previously. And
Those are Zimmerman wheels, man. What are you talking about? Zimmerman.
These wannabe Watanabes is what I've been calling them. It's not really Watanabes, but they are something akin to that. But yeah, it's very cool. It adds all the over fenders and all that stuff without it really being a huge project. Because these are designed to fit this kit already, and you're getting I'm
going to sell my stock version. That's a must-have.
So this is a nice little day 2 version of this car because you got the spoiler and all the over fenders and stuff like that. So
I like it
for consideration. This one's in here just for me, right? Because it's a very factory stock race car, right? So this is a 1991 series. Actually, if you look back at those decals on that 11, they were Trampio too. So this is the team later in life. And you know what you're getting out of this because they've been released a bunch of them, but I'm happy because it's another plug in my Japanese touring car collection. Over on the round 2 side of things, get a reissue of the 69 Ford Falcon modified stocker, which will make everyone cry that this isn't factory stock and how could they ever torn this car up back in the 70s, but they did. I think it's been since Model King. It's the last time this came out back in the 2000s.
Maybe.
So
long time ago, yeah.
It's been I believe because there was a guy who all of the stuff that I'm going to show you here in the next couple of seconds was complaining that all the stuff is easily available, and so I went back and looked at the last time it was out, and none of these kits have been run by the current round 2. Like some of them were run very close to the purchase, but none of round 2 has not made a penny off any of this stuff. I don't care how easy it is to find at a show.
Wow.
This was run the last time this was run, it was run in Mexico. So that's after the 90s, but before everything got sent to China. It's a weird window of time, but so that clearly round 2, not a penny made there. Then you have a reissue of the Gremlin modified.
Yeah,
this hasn't been out in 25 years.
That's old, man.
It's Yeah, I say it's not something that appeals to me, but I know there'll be people that want to buy it. And then we have Sean's creation here with the Lowrider Monte Carlo. The last time this was out was 22 years ago.
Mhm.
And you say, well, the Monte Carlo's been out recently. The factory stock one was, but that doesn't have any of the lowrider parts in it. And this, of course, you can't build factory stock. So it's one of those fun kits from the late Mueller era, the customs that were the backs of the B sides of so many of those kits. And then you have the Hemi Hustler, which, yes, is the Hemi under glass. I understand that. But the last time the Hemi under glass was run was 20 plus years ago. And this particular version was only done once in 1968, this decal package. So,
Wow.
you know, if you wanted to build one of these, you were buying aftermarket decals or hunting down a $400 model kit because it only was done once. So, again, I don't know if anybody really cares, but you know, it's example of things that just because you see something at a show doesn't mean it's new. Like, oh, there's lots of Humvee under glasses at show. Yeah, they are, but Round 2's not making any money off that, so they need to run the tooling for their own benefit. I think we're on Salvinus JR next. Yes, so Salvinus JR back in the land of Camaros because God forbid we do any tooling work on those Mustangs. Alex Bowman's Camaro. This is a throwback to this Darlington's paint scheme. Obviously, it looks like one of Jimmy Johnson's old cars because it's a throwback. You have Chase Elliott's white Napa livery. Yay, I guess. One of the things that they've at least been able to go back and do is run these Mustangs as the cars that they are. This 2023. So this is Joey Logano's Michigan winner from last year. There's a whole thing with Toyota that apparently the license that signed with Toyota doesn't allow them to make old cars. So they can't go back and make any of the 2023 cars that won races. They can only make future cars, which means there's not going to be a 2024 Camry, so we will not get any of those either. So I don't know who didn't read that before they signed it, but hey, that's awesome for NASCAR builders that you're going to have to go aftermarket decals for anything out of those 2 years. And then Scott Dixon's IndyCar will be released this month. I think I mentioned that last month, but it got pushed back to this month. And then lastly, a couple more things out of Hasegawa because we got a resin girl all the things, ladies and gentlemen. This is a repop of the Gen 3 Supra, super nice kit. And now you get this lady being like, how you like my hip? Not actually touching her hair. So. The one thing about these Hasegawa figures is they're kind of stuck in the poses they're in. So, like, this is what she looks like it or not. Hey, we going to the movies or what? No, I don't. And then the other one, I've been pestering James to buy this one because it's got sort of a little bit of a Tasca decal attachment to it.
Oh, nice. That's James right there. That's James
Porsche,
right there.
Porsche 968 with an eggplane girls here. And you, yes, of course, you get the little divorce in a box here. I mean, it's everything that James loves in a model kit. It's a weird color. It's got graphics all over it. It's cartoony. And then, like I said, you get the looks from people who are like, is that a teenage girl? Why did you buy that? Plus, you get the big Hasegawa sticker for your front bumper right there.
I'll probably buy it. If I see it at the show, I'll buy it.
Oh, you know that. Yeah, those kits remind me a lot of. I did a lot of kit reviews for Scale Auto also, and a lot of the ones I used to pick were those type of like Hasegawa and all those kind of imports and stuff like that. But it's mostly because in Puerto Rico they love them. We love imports in Puerto Rico, so I used to choose them because of that. But I did a lot of reviews on those kits, a lot.
I just sit here and scroll backwards through the comments. You guys find something to talk about. So I can't watch the comments. Well, I can't watch the comments while I do the screen sharing.
The Hasegawa kits really are nice. I built my first one recently, and they're really, really nice kits.
I like them, man. I like them a lot.
You guys are making me feel like I need to build an import kit of some sort. Just talk about them on every show, and I'm like, they're like a mystery to me. Like I have maybe built one or two like in 30 years of worth of model building.
Sean, you've never built a Tamiya kit?
A couple. That's probably I know I built the JTCC Honda Accord kit.
Mhm.
And I built the Honda CRX, like the first gen, because my
Okay.
dad owned the real one of those, so I built a replica for my dad, and that might be the only two that I've ever built.
If you can get your hands on, say, that new 240Z Street Custom, that'll blow your mind, man.
Yeah, that's a nice kit. That's definitely on my.
The blue one?
Yes. Yeah.
So, yeah, I just bought that thing too. I think
Did you?
badass too. This thing you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
This thing is a beauty. I was gonna get two, but I said, I'll wait for a little while, I'll get another one, or probably two more. They're very nice because I did the ZG, but this
Yes.
one is like, I like the front end of this one more.
I do too.
And it's left and right hand driven, so you got that choice in there.
Yeah. Is that the car you're talking about, Sean?
Yeah, I built the other version, the stock bodied one. That one has the wide body. I can't remember the factory tuner version, but yeah, that generation.
Okay.
I have to tell you a story about that. Selling the real car at one point. We'll save it for another time, but
No, go ahead.
Well, my dad owned that. So my dad was not a car guy. Cars to him were just appliances, and he drove like 80 miles to work one way. So he put a lot of miles on a car, and he was looking for an economy car. And in Springfield back in the 1980s, that we had one Honda. We had a Honda dealership. It was just in a storefront. Like back then they didn't have a car lot full of cars. They only had one car in the showroom and the only one they happened to have when he went to look was a bright red CRX SI. And my dad didn't know any different. He was just looking for a Civic. He thought it was like a high, what it would have been the HF version of the CRX. But he didn't know the difference between that and an SI. So he ended up just buying the SI because it was the only one they had. So he brought it home. It was like, and I'm like, Dad, you bought the high performance version. I'm like, sweet. He's like, what are you talking about?
You didn't know.
They're like, it was the only cool car my dad ever owned. So that was I think I was a senior in high school. So I remember like ripping around.
Yeah.
In that car. Car was a blast to drive. So much fun.
Yeah.
So you would have built this one.
Yeah, that's the one.
I love these wheels.
Yeah,
they look like an old rotary phone dial.
And what's weird about it, so those are the Japanese spec wheels, and the American spec wheels they look similar, but they don't have the asymmetrical shape to that. They have more of a symmetrical look.
I love this houndstooth looking interior that's going on there.
The car was a blast to drive, man.
Rocket. Right, little rocket.
So the CRX that I was showing you a second ago, this one, is being reissued on a sort of a limited run basis in October. So anybody who's been looking for one of these, it's been 10, 15 years since it's been in the Tamiya catalog. It's been a long time.
Wow.
They're not going to release them both. It's just the Mugen version, so it's just this one with the arches and the different wheels on it. But yeah, I mean, it's available. If you look at a lot of Japanese places, as I've been sort of digging through the All Japan Model and Hobby Show. This is showing as being back ordered instead of it popping up as like a new pre-order. So if you're in Hobby Link,
so it's sold out already, huh?
Like that, yeah, you have to go dig through the old back catalog to back order this kit, and then it being something that's in the current like pre-order cycle. If you wanted to pre-order a Tamiya kit, you could always like pre-order the new Porsche.
That's nice.
Nice.
That's
so
nice. Yeah.
So why they decided to do a 911 GT3 RS? I don't know. I kind of feel odd. I've talked about this with a bunch of people. I'm interested in your guys' thoughts on this. Like, I know that not everybody buys the Alpha model kits. That's $150 investment. It's and it's not a beginner model kit, but like between Alpha and PZY doing these things, I kind of feel that a lot of people who really wanted one of these already bought one and invested a whole piss load of money into it, and then probably have already built it. I mean, not me because I don't actually build models, but yeah, like I know this will sell well because it's a Tamiya kit and people will buy it just because it's a Tamiya kit. But I mean, a chunk of their most excited people, like this would have really been exciting. Except I already have one now. I'm like,
yeah.
Do I want another one? I mean, I haven't built the first one. I can always sell the resin one for probably what I got into it, but I don't know. It's not as inspiring to me as it may have been at one point, or something else may have been. I don't know. It's just.
I think I might have to
the files. Good.
I was gonna say I think I'm gonna have to pick up one of those because I really like that. That to me is my dream car. Like if I won the lottery today, I would have one of these.
Yep, and take a look at those Geronimo Works. I think it's Geronimo Wheels or something like that. Geronimo Works.
Yeah,
man, he does some really nice rims for these cars, man. Really nice stuff. Really nice stuff.
I bought the files to 3D print it, but I'll just throw it away. I already printed it, but I'll just throw that away and buy that.
I'm interested to see if this is going to get the typical Tamiya 911 treatment, where it's going to be engine molded to the bottom with some exhaust pipes. Because the one thing about this car in real life is it has a giant diffuser on the back of it, so a lot of that engine detail is going to be lost anyway. Right. And you know, you look at something like the Tamiya NSX, the new NSX that they did, it had that giant engine in it. And then when you closed it all up, you literally saw that little bit through the portal in the top. And you're like, gee, there's a lot of money you put into tooling that engine that I now can't see at all. Like, so I don't think they've done a 911 where it has an engine in it, where like the deck opens and you can see into it, like the Fujimi Enthusiast 911s, for example. But I'm interested to see where I mean, curbside is fine. I don't care. This is all pieces of aerodynamics sticking out all over it anyway, kind of car. It's like this little fender strake down here is just sort of hanging out, and there's one up here that it sort of blends in because of the way it's painted, and there's one back here behind the rear wheel that sticks out, and it's a very. If they make the race car version of this, you could sign me up for the 20 I can order from Hobby Link Japan right now. Let's just call a spade and be done with it. Because this car has been, the race version now for like 3 years, so there's plenty of back catalog and decals to be done. Awesome sauce on that. But as a street car, I don't know. Everything to me it does always has like a second version. And too many times the second version is like, oh, it's a clear body, and like, I don't need to see the inside of this. So, I'm interested to see what this does, because you don't tool something like this up just to do it once. So what's the race car version is kind of where you'd think you'd lean, because this was the top of the 911 chart as far as what you could buy. You'd be selling something less than if you went down to a GT3 or just a Carrera. So be interested to see where that goes.
I hope they do the orange and the green decals for the side.
Yeah, that'd be another thing. It'd be interesting to see what decals come with this, because that's the one thing. My PZY version of this had a whole spittoon full of broken parts, and I got them to send me some of the parts to be replaced. But their kit, and every one of them I've seen this built, this spoiler sags. It doesn't stay straight. Like once you assemble it, it's got too much weight for that cross piece of resin, and it just starts drooping. And that would be obviously solved by injection molding, because it would be much stronger, or a piece of PE, and if it was just made out of photo etch. But that would be the one thing. Like, can I sell a $150 resin item if I take the decal sheet out of it? Because the other thing that the RSs have is that stitched interior And though that I don't have it anywhere near me, but that decal sheet that they came had every single color of stitching that the seats came in for all of the seats.
Oh wow.
Like imagine it's just little dashed lines on a carrier film, but it's be something put together. And the PZY one had the Wasatch package or Wasatch, however you pronounce that, and that's a different set of decals. I'm thinking about literally colonizing a $150 kit for a set of decals, but I guess
yeah, that's a cool kit.
That'll be something fun. Because this is in red, but yeah, there's an acid green. So much of this is the wheels match. The wheels match this accent decal. So there's like an acid green one. I think it's pretty much any color that you want to. How much do you want to pay for that? I don't know. It's a Porsche kind of thing. Let's see. This one is something else that's going to be coming up. I think it's after the first of the year. I don't think they'll have this out this year. And I know that I think I got a pass immediately out of Mr. Tester on this. It's a 2 PCI Peugeot. Come on.
It's like Volkswagen to me.
Yeah. This is like another one of these 80s hot hatches. Like I think we got these in the US for 1 year of the production run. But this was the basis for a number of rally cars that Peugeot did back in the day. And and I saw a lot of people go like, why did they pick that? Because Heller's, even though they're owned by Germans, it's French. Like, when was the last time you saw Heller make a not French car? Everything's a Citroen or a Renault or this.
It looks like a Yugo.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, it does. It's 139 pieces, so I mean, it's gonna be a hootenanny. We got the
it's like a Dodge.
Yeah.
It's everybody's gonna give a load of crap.
You have fun with that one, James.
Oh, come on, look at this detail.
Don't care, man.
Got a full engine in it. We're Americans. We have to put engines in everything. Look at this. I don't even know what this is.
It's pretty cool.
It's a 1 point something liter, with a giant turbo attached to the front of it. Come on. Oh, I got no sale out of the peanut gallery. Boo. He's over here muting himself drinking water. He's so disgusted with it. All right, fine. Then let's discuss the other thing here before we get into dragging Marcos through how every single inch of how he paints something. How about a 1983 Monte Carlo rally Nissan 240 RS? Huh?
Yeah, I think it's kind of cool.
Sort of looks like I like it.
It's for the guys who watch the show enough, remember there's a streetcar version of this that literally just got released. So this adds the actual racing interior, skid pad wheels, tires, seats, and a bunch of other little bits and pieces to turn us into the full boogie rally car. I am appreciative of the fact that Hasegawa didn't release the exact same version of this that BMAX already did like 5 years ago. This is it's slightly different. I know it's splitting hairs, but it's not the exact same thing. So good on them, even though this car finished like 17th in the rally. At least it's not the exact same thing. I know that's not going to appeal to everybody, but I would like to claim I was right, because we talked about this in advance of like what the kits would be for this fall cycle. And I said, well, they're going to rally that 240. So they did. You're going to get another version of that little first gen MR2 that they do. This is the Super Edition Late 1989. So this would have been like one of the last MR2s that you could buy with this old blocky body style, which apparently justifies new seats with these questionable mesh headrest inserts. Like, I'm not sure what this would have been. Clear plastic in real life, I guess. Like, I'm not sure what this, like, PE, I guess, wouldn't have worked because that would be metal and not plastic. But it's kind of an odd, headrest in general. God bless Toyota. You get the Momo steering wheel in this, which I think is a resin piece. And if you haven't picked one of these up, they're kind of cool. They have a roof that's separate from the model. Like the inner core of it is there, but the top sort of skin gets put on. So this can either be like a moon roof or just a solid steel roof. I believe this one only came as a 5-speed manual, so the automatic parts won't come with it, but it's kind of cool. It's got an engine insert to it. It's a nice,
I
nice
drove the real one. Those things go, man. Those things go.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm. They're pretty cool.
Oh yes, more figures. So
Yeah.
reissue of the TWR street version of the old Jaguar kit. This was done to homologate the car for racing for all those race car Jaguars that existed. This is another Eggplane Girls. She is, I don't know, hitchhiking, I guess, because but she's also got her hand on her hip because every hostile girl figure is disgusted with you. And yeah, I mean, the TWR Sport kits. It's a unique version of the Jaguar. It has some parts in it that none of the rest of the kits did. The tooling's a little long in the tooth now because this came out in like 1984 originally, but it does have a full detail engine in it. It's one of the few full detail, car kits that Hasegawa ever did, other than the what is it? It's 328 Ferrari had the engine in it.
James,
this one I've been.
Is that the same Jaguar that I picked up at that show for $1, the convertible?
Yes, I believe it was. Yes.
Mm.
Okay.
So if you need the parts out of it, you can get that, and you can sell the resin grill on down the road. This one I appreciate just because everybody gave me such a raft of crap because I kept saying that this had a naturally aspirated bumper. So this is this says 1998, but that's obviously not the right year. But this is the late version of the 2+2 with the turbo front bumper. So you've got new seats, the new headlights with the xenon bulbs, and then the actual turbo styled front bumper. This has never been done in kit form before because every one of the previous Z32 300s has been an early version. So there's never been a late turbo car. And so now you'll finally get one, even if it's not a full detail kit. And I will get to say turbo front bumper at least 2 or 3 more times before the end of the year. That's a plus. This is a straight reissue with new decals, the 92 season, the Tyson car. This is a kit that I think Fujimi may have done back in the day. They've just reissued. Please avoid the Fujimi kit at all possible if you're going to build one of these because the Hasegawa kit's just so much better at this point. And this is
much better.
Just like a missing piece of the decal lineage because this car, instead of being the Advan that's just black and white, this was silver. This is not white. This is like metallic silver in this. So it was a very unique one-year livery that's finally done on a decent model. More resin girls. So Nissan's Sunny pickup truck. If you don't actually have one of these pickup trucks, this is a really model kit. I got one that I've been fiddling with forever. But yeah, so again, she's got her hand on her hip. She's got no time for you. She's impatient. She's waiting for you to get ready for that movie for like an hour now. Get off college NCAA football. Things. Nissan Gazelle.
Look at that thing.
So you may recall, if you followed us long enough, there's a Sylvia version of this that just got released. This is also the 240 RS. So the Gazelle and the Sylvia are technically, yes, the same car. But like so many things in Japan, and I'm sure Mr. Tetcher can verify this as he's been there recently, you can't just walk into like a unified Nissan dealership or a unified Toyota dealership. There's all these tiers to the dealership, Toyota and Toyota and all that stuff. Well, this is the same principle. The Gazelle was sold at one brand of the Cherry store, and then the Sylvia was sold at the Nissan store. So this has a new grille and a couple other pieces that turn it into a Gazelle, as a Gazelle rather than the Sylvia. What I'm saying everyone needs to go buy this for is because it's got the Japanese equivalent of a screaming chicken over here. Check this monstrosity out. I don't know what this is supposed to be. Is this the Eye of Sauron from Lord of the Rings? It's certainly a very 1979 piece of artwork. So if you have a Trans Am, you need one of these. This one is another Yukishiro Megadoc 40th anniversary version, and normally it would be something that I probably wouldn't even mention in this, but this tooling of the new rear end, the new front grille, the new headlight bezel, and the new taillight bezels, headlights, stuff like that. This goofy cartoon thing is actually a 1973 Isuzu Bellet, where they changed the front end to include those headlight bezels and this different
That's
grille
just
and
ugly.
fog lights. Yeah, it's a face the mother could love, but it was, I don't know, 200 horsepower car in the 1970s. It was really fast, and it was a really, especially in the race car format. But yeah, that's like kind of an odd thing. I know it's an Isuzu Bellet, so to this audience, it's not a significant thing. But within the concept of like Japanese motoring history, like that was the last one of those. It's a significant car, and to sort of tool it all up and throw it out in a TV cartoon attached thing, it's like, okay, that's an interesting choice. And lastly, interesting choices, right? And I know this one's got everyone just completely and totally excited, right? The new tool for the fall, the KP61 version.
I'm getting a few of those. I'm getting a few of those.
I love this. This is awesome. Like
that I have to buy, because in Puerto Rico they were very popular with the rotary engines and stuff like that. So I need to have at least 6 of them. Yep, they're very special to us.
We found the one person who's going to buy one, other than me.
Man. I know
I got that one Scarlet. I'm done.
This has the stamped floor in it, which, if you know your Hasegawa kits, they only do this when they're going to make a race car out of it.
Yeah.
So this was a pretty popular touring car and also a rally car, believe it or not. And so, mark my words, in 2025, you will see a race car out of this. I would not be surprised to see the big wide body fender flared version that they did. That was like the touring car version of this, because it matches the same time period and same racing series that the Civic, that yellow one we just looked at with the fender, that car's racing format. Plus you get, anything from this time period, you get these awesome, like, this nonsensical.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Fabrics.
This is being marketed. This was a joke I made online here the other day, because it's like, this is marketed as being mid-late, and somebody's like, I wonder if they'll do the one with the round headlights. I suspect that will have an early, a late, a mid-afternoon, an early evening, like a 3 a.m. overnight version, and then we'll throw some resin fenders on it, and then we'll throw girls at it, and it's a new Hasegawa tool. That thing will get 19 different versions by the time we're all done with it. Some will only be decals, and but I think it's it's having some of these sort of oddball, you would have never thought you'd see a model kit of them kits. It's fun to me, so I'm good with it.
Yeah, that Starlet, I'm telling you, Puerto Ricans are gonna buy all of them, and I'm talking about 3 million of them. They were very popular in Puerto Rico as drag races. Rotary, they used to put the rotary engines in them, and I'm telling you, they're gonna sell like hotcakes in the island. And that's not talking about the Puerto Ricans out here in the States. I'm telling you that thing is gonna sell like. I already ordered mine. I'm just waiting for it to come. Yeah.
I think it's a November kit. So it's not
November.
Too far
yeah, they said November, late November. I think it is.
So there, my part of this is done. Mr. Tester, ask Mr. Cruz about his painting, I guess.
So stepping back to your process. So you're prepping your bodies, you're block sanding bodies, of course, for those beautiful paint jobs. You're scribing your panel lines down to paper thin. What else, man? Share your prep.
I don't know, man. To tell you the truth, it's not much. It's really not much. Just the basics. I really work on the plastic a lot. The plastic that's where your base really is. If you get that straightened out, you know how it is when you look at a panel line on a car, when they stamp that panel line, that's heat that's being, pushed in there. So what happens is it bubbles around it. So you have to take care of all that. You just got to straighten out all the plastic first. I concentrate on the plastic first. And if you get that straight, everything else just falls into place, and then everything else is just basic. With all these YouTube videos nowadays, with people painting and process and their the way they do. It's all basic. Yeah, I don't have anything special. I just take my time, make sure that everything comes out right, especially with the base. Once you have that going, it's pretty good. I mean,
So most people
Don
use a
Yost
prep.
used to work. Yeah, Don Yost used to work on his plastic, and he used to go all the way from 3,200 to 12,000 underbodies. Never used primer, just shot the enamels right on top. And you saw how straight his bodies were. It was just the plastic that would used to be worked on. And that's basically what I do. I don't have, it's nothing specific, but I am picky about my panel lines. That I have to see my panel lines clearly on a model.
Do you
and
prescribe your foil lines too?
yes, I prescribe everything. I don't care how many lines. I mean, I spend hours working on just panel scribing, not only the panel lines from the doors, of course, and everything else, but if like muscle cars, they come with a lot of molding, a lot of chrome and all that stuff, the molding around the windows and all that. I make sure that I scribe all that. Everything gets scribed. Everything gets scribed.
What's your favorite scribing tool?
I like to use the BMF, but you see the trick with the BMF scriber. They have a scriber also. The trick to that, a lot of people think that I use the scriber all the way through. I don't do that. What I do is that I start with the scriber, but I start very, very, very lightly. I mean, to the point where I probably do 20 passes very lightly, because if you go offline a little bit too much, you're just going to go right into the body. It's just going to go right to the side. So I just scribe very lightly. And once I have that little road going, that little path, I just take my number 11 knife in reverse, of course, backwards, and I'll go ahead and finish it with that. But I like to use the OFA brand number 11 knives, because they're thinner at the point. I'm not talking about the wide side, but the thin side. When you look at them, they're thinner. So as when you start going deeper and deeper, the line doesn't become too wide. You know what I'm saying? You got to keep that line very, very small, because if you use the scriber all the way through, if you look at the scriber, it's actually pretty wide. And if you keep going with the scriber, you're going to have line about this. You know what I'm saying? So you end up, and then once you put your primers and all of that everything sets up a little bit better. But and a lot of guys say that you should cut a little bit off the X-Acto knife off to, not to do it with the really sharp point on it. I'm the other way around. To me, it's got to be a brand new knife, because once you make that path with the scriber, everything else just goes through real easily. With a brand new knife, it just works better and faster. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your favorite primer?
I'm using the Splash 2Ks now. I'm loving them. But my favorite really is Tamiya, but you can't use Tamiya with every paint. So, they're like, I think a Scale Finishes is saying that for his paints, you got to use his primers. And I found out the hard way a couple of times. But Tamiya probably is my favorite. But lately, I've been using the Splash 2K. I love them. They work better also for the, when you prime and you still still see that ghosting on the body and stuff like that. The 2K works better for that, all that kind of stuff.
Okay. I just started using the Mr. Hobby Surfacer.
Yes,
brand.
I use that.
It comes
also.
in maybe a 2 or 3 ounce bottle and thin that 100%. And I love that. Nice and
I
thin.
use that also. Yeah, I like using that one because you thin it. If you thin it a lot, it's really, really, really light. You know what I'm saying? And you can just do some couple of passes, and it's better to keep the details on there. It's better for the details.
I totally agree.
But I do use it. Yeah, I like it also. Mm-hmm.
Do you exclusively use?
Go ahead.
I was going to ask. Do you exclusively use airbrush?
Yes, airbrush for everything. for everything. Clears, even on the smallest parts, everything is airbrush. I decan everything. I just don't trust the cans. You know, now if I'm doing, let's say I'm doing a review kit, you know, it's only a certain amount of time that you have to do the reviews. And sometimes, you know, with the rush and your job and stuff like that, you got to have things done on time. I still will use the airbrush for the body and the paint, because most of the paints that I have are bottled. They're not can. And then sometimes I would use the can for the clear, you know, to me a clear. That's about the only time I use it. But if I'm doing a serious project, everything's got to be done with the airbrush. I love my airbrushes, man.
And what kind of airbrush do you have?
I just use my regular Iwatas. I just purchased what was it? Forgot. The Greg, the one with the handle. I just purchased that one too. I was ready to buy a Steenbeck. I think it's what do you call those, Steenbeck or something like that?
Harder
Harder
Steenbeck,
Steenbeck, something like that. But I don't know. I don't see the need to keep. I have about 12 airbrushes, and I just don't want to. I don't want a collection of airbrushes. I just want to use the airbrushes that I have. You know what I'm saying? So mostly just the Iwatas I use. Mostly Iwatas. And for my little workhorse is a Patriot that I have for little parts and stuff like that. And then I use my Iwatas for and I have one for the clear coats. I have one for the color coats. I have one for the metallics. You know, I don't like to mix them too much. Keep them clean. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm.
I imagine so. Yeah.
Yep. You got to keep
I'm
it
just
clean.
the opposite. I have two. I have like a fine one and a big one. I just use it for everything.
Yeah. But I trust my airbrushes for everything. I'm not too crazy about these cans. You know, you don't know how that button's gonna work sometimes. It could be factory. At the factory, they messed it up somehow, and after you have that nice, perfect paint job, you shoot that thing. I'm not crazy about that, man. I just decan everything and just do everything through my airbrush, man. You know, and of course, base coats. I love base coats. There's nothing better than base coats, especially if it's a metallic paint, which I really don't like. I really don't like metallic paints. I actually hate metallic paints. But if it's a metallic, I want it to be Splash or MCW, but specifically Splash because they're base coats.
Yeah, I like Splash for their the size of the flake. He does a good job with the size of the flake.
Yes,
I won't mention any names of other companies, but one company has big, huge flakes, and I can't stand it.
Yeah. My flakes have to be. I mean, I'm very picky with the size of the flakes. Sometimes I go to the. I painted. I think it was a what was it, a 440? 440. What's that for? The W30. The Cutlass, the O's, the W30. And I don't want to say anything negative, but scale. I love scale finishes. Not only his paint jobs are absolutely great, his service, the guy is very good company to deal with. The only thing I don't like about them, and it's not all the colors. There's several metallic colors that are out of scale. And I did the W30. I did a Viking blue, I think it was. Yeah, I did a Viking blue W30, and the flakes just I don't know. I took it to the club, and the guys keep saying, "Cruz, what are you crazy, man? The flakes look perfect." I mean, that's not too big. It's just they're a little bit too big. They're a little bit too big. So I don't wanna knock scale finishes. I mean, he has great paints, but if I buy scale finishes from now on, it's gonna be only solids. I'm not gonna do the metallics. Yeah, I think I'm gonna keep buying Splash and scale and MCWs. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we MCW is kind of local here. Well, his old shop is local here.
Yeah. He used to be where was he before?
It's in Massillon, Ohio.
He's there now, but he used to be where was he used to, I forgot where he
he moved from Massillon to Virginia, I think.
North Carolina.
North Carolina. Okay.
North Carolina. That's it.
Yeah. So but his old shop is over in Massillon.
Yeah, I remember.
We can get the paints there.
Mm.
That's for sure, Craig.
Yeah, he has great paints, man. Actually, it's funny because I just put something in Facebook about the vinyl top that I'm doing. I told you that I did it with enamels, and he wrote. I just saw the little thing on the side of the computer in Facebook, that little Facebook chat thing that comes out all of a sudden, and he's like,
Yeah.
"What are you talking about? You know, your testers being better than my MCW texture paint." So when I'm finished with you guys, I'm gonna have to respond to him and kind of apologize. You know what I'm saying? Because I love his paint, so I don't want, you know, I want to keep him on the good side of things. You know what I'm saying?
So
that was
you're
funny.
actually using tester square bottle paints
The little
for your
square
vinyl
bottle
tops?
paints, man. Yeah.
Oh shit! I didn't know anybody used those anymore.
Well, there was a model in one of our. I think it was from my mama club. There was a guy that had about, I swear, he had about 150 or 200 jars of that thing. And he told me, "Yo, Cruz, you want these, man? I hate these enamels. They don't dry, and this and this and that." And he just gave all of them to me. I have them right over there, man. I mean, a whole box of enamels, all sorts of colors. So I use the enamels, you know, for the vinyl tops because the texture's just perfect. But again, the MCW texture paint, it works really good. It does work very, very good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Works
Once
very
again,
good.
I guess you just find something that works for you and make it, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
Area to
I
use it.
I was doing that before he came up with the you know, with the texture paint. But then he put a photo of the texture paint when he was selling it. And I said, "Oh man, look how nice that looks." So I went out and tried it, and I liked it, but I still prefer my method. You know, sorry, Michael, I
So
still prefer my method, man.
MCWs, is that an enamel as well, a hardened enamel?
Well, he started with a lacquer line, but now
Okay.
he's doing enamels. I've tried a
Okay.
few of them. He has a hardener, but
Yes.
the hardener it has a shelf life, so I'm not too crazy about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, he has an enamel line also. A lot of military colors if you're into the military stuff also.
I say
Yeah.
he made a lot of hay when the sun shines there when Testers discontinued so much of
Oh yeah.
their line there. He came right up with those military colors, and I know he
Yeah.
sold a bunch.
Yeah. I like enamels, man. I mean, people, you know, talk about them a lot and, you know, they're not good. They don't dry. I don't know. I've always liked them. Durable paints, man. They last forever. And, you know, the best thing to do is thin them with lacquer. It's better than using the regular, you know, just like Yost used to do. Just thin them with
Right.
lacquer. You know, they work very, very nicely. I like them. Mm-hmm.
Do you find that you have to re-shine them, like,
They
or
have
just
they
you have to
have enough
polish them?
inherent gloss. Yeah, they have enough inherent gloss. If you're using the glossy ones, they have enough inherent gloss in them that you don't have to. You really don't have to use a clear coat. I never use a clear coat over the enamels. Just wet sand and polish, and that's it. I
I'll
mean,
be
this.
darned.
Yeah. And even the Tamiya's, I mean, that little Porsche that I just showed you, that doesn't have a clear coat on it.
Get out of here.
That thing does not have a clear coat. Those Tamiya paints, they're very glossy, man. You just got to be careful. It only has 3 coats on it, but comes out so thin out of the airbrush that all you got to do is, I start with a 4,000.
Right.
You know, I start with a 4,000 and end up with about an 8,000 because you don't want to rub through, and then everything else is just polish. Maguire's compound and polish. And if you do go through, then just hit it on hit it again and go at it again. But it doesn't have a clear coat.
I'll be darned.
If I could reach through the internet and high five Marcos right now, because I've said that forever. If you have a solid gloss color, you don't have to clear it if the paint comes out.
Don't.
Polish the paint.
You don't. And I'll tell you this much. I love my 2K clears. I absolutely love them, but they're too shiny if you do not work on them.
Yep.
They are
Right.
too shiny. They're too shiny. They just don't look right. And if you're doing a muscle car, you want a 2K. There was no clear coats on those 70s, and 60s muscle cars. You know what I'm saying? They used to shine out right out of the paint, right out of the lacquer. That's how they used to shine them. I think that's how they used to do them in the factory. But when you put a 2K on those cars, on a model car, you have to wet sand it. Not only because you have to work with the imperfections, they don't come out perfect, but you do knock out that sheen a little bit because it's just too shiny.
I agree.
I think it's
100%.
too shiny. I think it's too shiny, and I'm telling you, I've done a couple of cars that I've done the 2K and didn't even touch them because I just liked it, but it was probably a review model or something like that. I didn't care. But if I put something serious on the table, especially a muscle car, and I did it with 2K, that thing is being wet sanded.
Big time. Yeah.
And polished and everything because it just looks better. It looks.
One of the guys, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
One of the guys commented on one of my videos about the sports cars that I make with the anime all over them, that they're too shiny. And I told him, I said, yes, they are. They're 2K, they're polished, and they are too shiny for what they are. They should be a matte coat or even a flat coat. But I told him, I said, if you go to a contest and you have a nice model car and it isn't shiny, you're not going to win any trophies.
Exactly.
Because if it's not shiny, that means that you don't know how to make it shiny, and therefore shiny cars win. So I said, I gloss coat all my cars.
Yeah.
It's
I think
that's the way it is.
Tim with this comment of show me scale orange peel. I have had my Mac that I drive right now is not too bad, but I had a series of internationals that I drive, tractor trailers, and the paint jobs on those were like pebbly. Like everybody acts like the things come out of the factory and they're like this smooth high gloss paint. It's like some cars are like if you go buy a Porsche, it's gonna have a real nice finish on it, but like the joke I've always had about the internationals that Mobius did was I can't build them because I drove them and I know what's wrong with the model kits. Like, I don't know how I paint the thing crappy enough to replicate the actual paint job the thing had on it from the factory. It's a shiny, smooth thing that was new. You could see, you looked at it on an angle and it was just all, not even the bodywork. It was just orange peel in the paint. They didn't care about those things. They was running those things out the door as fast as they can. Same thing with like an economy car. Go look at like an old. My parents had Toyotas. Go look like an '83 Tercel, like that. If it didn't rust while you stared at it, like the paint was all over the place.
Tom
2K is very
brought
shiny.
up a good point here.
Scale shiny.
I would like to see that, Tom. That I would be surprised. I'd really like to see that. But yeah, just in general. I find that cars that don't shine don't win anything. Don't even get looked at.
And that's one of the reasons why I say that I'd rather be at a judge show because the biggest points you get on your models is your paint. That's where everything starts. If that paint is right, that judge is gonna look. After that, he's gonna look into your car. If that paint job is not nice, he don't have anything else to do with your car. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Cool. But some of these paints, they have enough inherent gloss in them that you don't need to put any clear coat. If I don't have, I'll tell you this much, especially when I use the really light colors like the Porsche again, when you start putting that clear coat on and one little dark pebble hits that thing, that is the most frustrating thing in the world. If I can eliminate that step, I'm going to eliminate that step. I'm going to eliminate it. You know what I'm saying? It's the good thing about not using the clear with those light colors is that you don't, if you got something on that paint, let it dry, rub it off again, and go ahead and repaint and finish it off. But I've done some paint jobs. I'm telling you, a lot of people say, there's no way you didn't put a clear coat. I'm telling you, I didn't put a clear coat on that thing.
So you mentioned that you use McGuire's brand rubbing compound?
The compound and then the polish. And then at the end, just so I don't get all the fingerprints all over the place, I'll go ahead and just take a little bit of wax, carnauba, whatever, hit it in circular motions all over the car, let it dry, and then I would hit it. And this is a trick I learned from Bill Geary. That's my boy right there. I mean, that's my teacher right there. The trick that he used to have on his finish is that after you finish with the wax, he would use a chamois. Those chamois that you use to dry cars, because it doesn't have any kind of fibers. So you would wax at the end and just take everything off with the chamois. There's no
He's
fibers.
going to be our guest next week, by the way.
Oh, good.
Our
Good.
next episode.
Yeah, that's my teacher right there. He's a tremendous model. They invited us. I think it was in 2005. I think it was 2006 to a show in Puerto Rico to be judges. They actually invited him, but since the guy knew that I knew him, Puerto Rican guy that used to do the shows in Puerto Rico, he said, "You Cruz, can you come down with Bill Geary? Because we're gonna need a translator too." So I went down with him, and we had a great time. We had a great time. The first time that I went to the Persephone show, the NNL East, which was in Persephone at first, I went with the first time I went, it was with him, and then after that, I kept on going with him. Then I moved, and it was too far to go and pick him up and to go over to the other side. But yeah, I started going to the NNL East with Bill Geary. Yeah, very nice guy, man. Nicest guy you ever want to meet. Mm-hmm.
Was there a healthy model community in Puerto Rico?
Yeah, it's a pretty healthy community down there. Mm-hmm. Very good guys down there too. Mm-hmm. A lot of talent too. A lot of talent down in the. And again, you're gonna see it with them starlets. When you start seeing them starlets being built, you're gonna see it with that. I'm telling you.
Nice.
It's a big community down there of modelers. Good guys down there too. Mm-hmm.
Marcus, I'm curious. How did you get started building model cars?
Well, I had an uncle to this day, the only thing that he buys is vans, like regular vans with the windows and the curtains and all that stuff. Just regular vans. And my uncle has always had vans all his life. And I remember when I was a kid growing up in the Bronx, he used to buy the kits, and he always used to buy just van kits. So when I see all these van kits nowadays, these older, like the Cruise one, the yellow one, I don't know if you know the one that's yellow, and he used to say California Cruise or something like that. He always used to buy those kind of vans, and he used to always put them together in front of me. He wouldn't let me touch them because he used to just love to put them together. And of course, he painted everything with a brush, not even with a can. He used to buy the little Pacto, I think it was, little bottles. He used to paint everything with a brush. And I loved it. I loved it. But I never really started doing anything until I was probably, 16, 17 years old in New York. I started doing my little builds here and there, but never really got into it deep into it. So I used to every time I used to finish a model, my boys used to look and say, "Oh man, I like that one. You want it?" And I used to give it to them. I used to give all my models to everybody. I never collected anything. I used to give them all away. So I stopped building for a while, and then in '92 I moved to Puerto Rico in '92, and I think it was in '94 Scale Auto came out with a magazine. I mean, Scale Auto has been around since the 80 something, but they came out with an issue where they had a red truck, I think it was, with the markings of how's that that famous rock star that used to have the red with the white and black stripes? Remember that Van Halen pickup? I think it was.
Right.
Remember that issue?
Yeah.
I picked up that issue, and I opened it up, and I just saw the magazine at a shop somewhere in Puerto Rico, and I started looking around. And damn, this hobby has really grown. I started seeing all these aftermarket parts and this and that, and I was like, wow, this has really grown. So it kind of interested me again to start building again. And I started building, but then I left it again. Hey, that's my wife. I'm just saying hi to my wife over there. So I started building again. So what I did, so I stopped again, and I moved to Maryland, where I'm currently living right now. And I started hearing about this mama guys modeling, the club. I started hearing about the club, and I got kind of an interest of, of just seeing what's going on with the modeling and stuff like that. And since then, I have been building. I haven't stopped till now, bro. It was the club that actually revived everything again. And I haven't stopped building till now. And this has been what, probably 20 some odd years now. And that's how I started back in the hobby, man. It was the mama. There it goes. That's
Yeah.
the
I remember that.
that's
I still
the
have
issue
that
that brought me back. That's the issue right there.
That brings back memories.
It brings back a lot of memories. I think that was in 1994, 1992.
Yeah,
June of 94.
94, yeah.
Nice.
I remember that issue, and it's so funny. It's I'll tell you what's something that's funny also. Replicas and Miniatures used to have an ad on that magazine, and I used to always look. I first of all, I never saw myself living in Maryland because the reason I'm in Maryland is because my wife's sister moved to Maryland, and she kept on telling, "Oh, you should come over to Maryland because things are not very good in Puerto Rico." So I fell in love with this woman, and I ended up in Maryland because of her. That's why I'm in Maryland. So I didn't want to leave the island, but I love it here though. But I didn't want to leave the island. But I'm in Maryland because of her. So what was I telling you?
Replica Miniatures.
Yeah, replicas and look at that. I'm already forgetting. So I used to see the ads from Replicas and Miniatures all the time, and I saw it in that magazine, but never did I think I was gonna be part of the Mama Club, especially Norm from Replicas. I mean, this guy's a legend.
Right.
Right.
And the thing is that a lot of people they look at Norm and they only see the resin part of things, but they don't even have an idea how talented this man is. This man can build like you don't have an idea. I wish you guys could see some of his models.
Yeah, I've only seen his resin stuff.
Man, this man can build. I'm telling you, he's an amazing builder. But most of what he does is is the resin stuff. But never did I imagine that I was going to be in the same club with Norm and Lau Willits. Everybody knows Lau Willits, and it's a great club. We had a lot of good, talented builders in this club, man. A lot of talented builders.
Do you think being in the club pushes you to keep getting better?
Oh yeah, definitely. Not because I'm seeing other people doing better than I am. Just it's the other way around. It's kind of it's like everything. When you first start and you start hearing comments about your stuff, you kind of get even more motivated. So that's what the club really does for you. If you think about it, that's what a club really does to you. And I always tell people, a lot of people say, I only build for myself. I don't have to go anywhere to show my. That's BS. The best way to enjoy this hobby is sharing it. If you don't share this hobby, there's no way you're gonna enjoy it. You can't enjoy the hobby if you don't share it.
Right.
You have to share it. You have to get together with other guys, and that's how you get motivated, especially with the shows and stuff like that. You're gonna tell me that you're gonna go to a show and come on, you're gonna get motivated to get better, and of course with every model you're supposed to get better, not worse. You're supposed to better your skills with every model. And that's what the fun really is. That's what I think.
It's interesting. Just even my participation in this podcast has changed my modeling styles and making me think more about because you guys have every guest and both Jameses have shared techniques that I never really thought, like panel lines. The entire time I've built models, I never really thought once about shading or detailing panel lines. It just really hurts me. And once you guys started talking about it, and I started noticing, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess that doesn't look as. I look at my past models and go, oh yeah, that doesn't. So it's making me, even your tip today about painting it before you put your that's a great tip.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think sharing ideas and techniques and stuff, it does, it sort of levels you up and gets you inspired, to kind of to do things.
Exactly.
And yeah, try things, and yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, and that's the part of sharing that I say it's the best. You know, it's just you learn not only by applying whatever it is that you learn by applying things you learn from another guy at a club, at a show, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And this is we never stop learning with this hobby. That's another thing that I like about this. We
Right.
never stop learning. There's always something that you're gonna have to apply and learn. And again, something that you heard from somebody, oh, how did he do that? I wonder how he did this, and I wonder how he did that. That's how that's how you get better in the hobby. You know what I'm saying? With every model, you just get better. And then you meet guys like you guys, the famous names like Sean, and now Jim Tester with his big YouTube channel now. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. And Duff over there too. Duff is pretty good too, man.
He's the most
But you need to start
knowledgeable
hearing all
person
these.
I
Yeah.
know about model kits. Nobody knows
Yeah,
more than James Duff about model kits.
And
I'm
if
telling
no
you,
one,
he knows
if
so
no,
much, man.
if no one realizes why we're poking fun at James all night long, it is because James achieved that next step in a
Plateau.
YouTube career of 10,000 subs.
Yeah, yeah.
It's you know,
No, it's
we don't
incredible.
want to blow his head up so it won't fit in the box anymore that he's
Yeah.
sitting in, but it really is an I've razzed him a little bit over the week here, but that's a big number. That's really great.
whoever thought about white glue builds? White
Right.
glue builds. You know what I'm saying? I never, come on. And then I started seeing this, man, that's a good idea. Building I'm not going to do it. I can't see myself doing that white glue and build a whole model. And then I'm not going to do that. But it's fascinating to see how some people can do that. And it just give you so many ideas. Like, by doing the white glue builds, that you're going to have problems probably by mating the chassis, and the glass is going to be in the way. So that's just another incentive, with this sharing stuff. You just can't.
We're running out of time. Marcos, what's your Achilles heel when it comes to building? What do you still have problems with?
I guess I don't know.
I can't do Windows. I can't do Windows. I screw them up more than I get them right.
Well, the thing with Windows is, like, I'll tell you this much. A lot of the guys, when they see my work, they always say, how do you get those windows so clean? Is how? Before you make the chassis, make sure you wipe the inside out and then make the chassis. Because a lot of guys, they forget about that. Think about it. A lot of times after you put that window, you can't wait to make that chassis. Once you make the chassis, that window's all dirty. It's little things like that. There's no secret to that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just simple things that you have to follow. But something that I don't know, I can't think about anything right now, but
Marcus doesn't have any challenges with models, right?
No. Believe me, I have a lot of challenges. I have a lot of challenges, but I just can't think of one right now. That's all. But
okay, it's fine.
When you were mentioning
the spot,
when you were mentioning it earlier, I honestly don't remember if you said anything about this earlier, but this comment popped in here with it that Tom had joined a little late, asking what it is you use to appreciate your panel lines before you paint.
Oh, I use the MIG. It's MIG. Hold on, I got it right here, guys. Hold on. I got it right here. I don't know if you guys seen this product, MIG, MIG.
Yeah, I know MIG.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is just dark washes. This one in particular is like a very dark brown, but I would have not minded if it would have been black, because again, you got this argument about panel lines that they have to be gray or the darker color that the car is, which is kind of stupid because my Porsche is racing white. So what am I going to do? You got to do something dark. You know what I'm saying? So this is just what I use, but you could use anything that's very watery that you thin down. It doesn't have to necessarily be this one, but this is what I like to use. I don't see, there's no science to that. You could use the Tamiya one, The black, the panel liner, you could use that. I think it's a little too thick. This is a lot more watery, so that's why I like this one more.
Okay.
But that's
Does it
what
come
I
with a
do
little
with that.
brush? Is
Yeah,
there a little
just
brush
take
in there?
no, there's no brush on this one, but I do have a very thin little brush that I just dab in. Of course, capillary action takes over and all that stuff. And that's all I use. But this is the one that I usually use. But you could use anything, but make sure that it's very watery.
Do you scrape parts before glue?
Yeah, if it's chrome, if it's chrome
I mean,
stuff.
a painted part. Do you scrape them before you glue them?
Oh yeah, I do that.
You do?
All the time. Yeah.
Okay.
I've never.
I just put my glue right on the paint.
Well, probably with the Tamiya liquid glue, you don't have to, right? I mean, I'm just used to doing it. I've never really. I'm just used. It's just routine.
Yeah.
To me, it's just routine. But obviously, if it works for you guys, I might stop doing it.
Well,
I might stop doing it.
I say in factual basis, Tamiya's extra thin cement is like a percentage or two different mix than the Tamiya airbrush cleaner is. So basically, it's just lacquer thinner in a bottle.
Yeah,
so
yeah, exactly.
You can glue things together with that without taking the paint off, because it's going to literally eat the paint while it's melting the plastic. So
exactly, yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it's fun, guys. It's a lot of fun. I've had a lot of good times with the hobby, and met a lot of great people, man, and that hasn't stopped yet. I mean, every year you get all these new talented kids. I mean, this Lewis Hicks. I was telling Mr. Duff, look what he gave me. He gave me he just gave it to me, man.
Wow.
What's wrong with you, bro? How much is that? He just gave it to me. This kid is too much, man. And you've seen his video. You guys interviewed him.
Yep.
He's just tremendous kid, man. Tremendous. I love him, bro. I love him. Every time I go to the shows and I see him, I know I'm gonna have a good time. He's a great kid. He really is a great kid. Yeah, he really is a great kid.
Boy, am I glad I don't compete with you guys. Boy, am I glad.
Well, believe me, that's the same thing I say with when I see Vince LaBosco. Once I see him in the shows, I know I'm not gonna win anything. But it's not about winning. You know what I'm saying? It's about camaraderie and just getting together with the guys and having fun. That's what it's all about. I've seen a couple of guys that they just hate it when they lose, and I said, dude, you're just not. You got to learn to stop doing that. You know what I'm saying? Just come in and enjoy the show. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. Yeah. Some guys take this thing a little too serious.
Speaking of which, we're in the fall here. You have any more shows coming up? I know this is the busy time of the year for modelers, show wise.
Yeah.
You go to something almost every weekend.
I want to go to the Atlanta show, but something always comes up. If it's not something with wifey, or something with the job or something else. So I'm still unsure if I'm gonna go or not. Hopefully I can make it this year, because Bob Downey keeps telling you, Cruz, you gotta come down here. You gotta come down here to the show. And I keep telling him, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it. And he's like, dude, you gotta come down here. I know how great that show is. I don't even have to be there to know that show is that good. Right. So hopefully I can make it. That's probably the next one. There is another one called PenCon just above me, probably in 30 miles from me. That's one of those IPMS shows. I'm not too crazy about them, because those IPMS guys, they don't like us too much for some reason. I don't know why. They think we work with toys and stuff like that. So I don't know. I might make it. I might not. Lewis Hicks was telling me about it. So if I go, it's gonna be because of him, because he's gonna be there. Those
guys are pretty good up there at that club. It's an open judging, so it's gold, silver, bronze rather than first, second, third. So it's a good show from what I've seen. Those guys come out to ours. I am the IPMS guy, by the way. So
okay.
I've often thought the best way to fix IPMS's issues with car guys is to put a bunch of car guys in it. It's like
yeah.
Marcos,
I've heard. Yeah.
Go ahead. No, finish your thought there.
Yeah, I've heard a couple of things from them, that I don't like, but I'm not gonna go into none of that stuff because it's not even worth it. It's not even worth it.
I was gonna ask you, all new kits. If you had your wish list and you owned a model company, what would be the all new kit that you'd like to see?
The
Man.
all new kit. I don't know, man. Oh my God, I have so many, man. You see, that's a tricky question because I have so many. But I do love the old Datsuns like that, those old imports like that. I love them. I love those. I like anything that. In reality, most of what I like is muscle cars. Anything that's muscle, especially old Cadillacs. I love anything old Cadillac with the big wings and all that stuff. I would like something like that to come out more often. Skylarks, stuff like that. Just the older muscle cars that you hardly see on the tables. You know, that's really my favorite stuff. I would like to see more.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Stuff like
So
that.
we have Marcos's vote to see a cloned, was that a 65 Skylark that they later kiboshed into a circle track car.
Oh man,
66.
no.
66. I know. So I know. And I know one of those Grand Sports that they did very early on. It's a Craftsman Plus, so
Yeah.
it would fit
Yeah,
right in that little curbside window they like to play with now with the curb. With
I'm
Craftsman
telling
Plus.
you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Yep.
Yeah, I think that would be a good one to reissue.
Mm-hmm.
James, ask your question. You ask everybody.
All right. Yeah, exactly. So the question we ask everybody stole blatantly off another podcast is the Magnus Opum build, which is like your lifetime achievement. Is there it doesn't even for me, it is. I'm a huge fan of a race in Macau. It's a one-time street race, and I can, if I ever got around to it, build like probably 15 years worth of winning cars from this one race. And I think that having that collection would be like my life's achievement. Is there some sort of project, be it a single model kit or something that you've always wanted to do? And it's like that one thing that's like the bucket list item. It's like, before I go, I'm going to build that kit. And that's going to be the thing that I'm known for, kind of build or project.
I would say a Model Factory Hero kit.
Ooh.
I love them. I want to get. I haven't started on one yet because I think between the magazines, the reviews, and all that stuff, they've kept me pretty busy. And this is not counting the many times that the guy say, "Yo, Cruz, can you paint this car for me, or can you build that car for me, and can you do?" And I can't say no. You know, I think the guys take advantage of that. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the things that I think I haven't started with one yet because I have so many things on the table. I don't have many right now, but I know I'm gonna have many pretty soon because it's a long story. But between the reviews and sometimes I haven't written an article in a while because I don't want this to become like a job. You know what I'm saying? I was doing I was doing quite a bit of writing for the magazines, but it started feeling like a job because I had to get them done in a certain amount of time. And then, between my job and this and that, so I stopped writing for a little while. I just kept doing reviews because that's something that's just quick, it's right out of the box. But yeah, to me, a Model Factory Hero, especially if it's something like a Ferrari, like I do have one that I bought.
I was gonna say, have you made the commitment to actually buy one?
Oh yeah, man. Look,
It's a 12 scale, Marcos?
This is a 124 scale.
Okay.
This is this one.
Ooh.
Okay.
I love my Ferrari, so I don't know if I'm ever gonna build this. I know I'm gonna build it at one point of my life because this is really what I'm striving for right here. But I have to be ready for this, and I'm talking about making enemies so they could leave me alone and I could do this model. I probably don't know. I'm not doing anything else for you. To hell with you. I'm just gonna do this and that's it. So I'm gonna have to make quite a number of enemies, which is hard for me. And then I'll probably start on something like that.
Mm-hmm. We didn't really touch on it. You're known for doing a lot of kit reviews and
yeah,
writer for fine scale modeler. Is that
right now? It's for fine scale because scale auto is no more, obviously. Okay. Yeah.
How did you get started doing that type of thing?
I don't know. I thought I saw some ad saying that they always needed contributors.
Hmm.
And I just emailed. I think it was who was the guy that was working before the guy that's right now? I forgot the older guy with the white beard. The guy from
I don't
Scale
know.
Auto.
Oh Christ.
Hart, Jim Hart.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Jim Hart. He used to take pictures at the show at the NNL East. Remember James?
Yeah.
The guy
Yeah,
that
I
used
just-
to take the pictures in the corner from Scale Auto, that was Jim Hart. I emailed him and he said, well, we're always looking for contributors as long as you know how to take pictures and as long as you know how to write. And let me get this straight. I write beautifully compared to the way I talk. Believe me, when you see me writing, you say, there's no way that guy wrote that. There is no way that guy wrote that good. Because I have time to think a little bit before I talk and stuff like that. But I believe me, I don't write the same way I talk. But I started seeing he just said, make sure you have an SLR and the pictures are taken this way with a clean background, and make sure when you express yourself when writing that you're looking at the other side, how they're looking at you, and this and that's so. If I figure if that's all they took, I'm gonna be doing reviews. So it's not bad. Because you get what, $125, $150 for a review, plus you get a free kit. Some of these kits are $70 and $80. So you can't go wrong with that. You're having fun, you're making money. I'm not gonna say no to that. And any of you guys can do the same thing. All you gotta do is just write to Fine Scale. If you're interested on kit reviews, they'll send you the model. Just put it together, paint it, do whatever you and it's box stock. So it's something you're not doing any extra detail. It has to be box stock. You can't do anything extra because you're supposed to build it the way it is. Because
Right.
that's the idea. So it's good. I mean, that's good money. Something you're having fun with. And that's how I got started. And then after that, I started doing the articles. Because the guy said, man, you could do articles for us. You're not interested in doing articles? I mean, you could do an article on this or on that. And I started doing that. And there it goes. Then I stopped for a little while. I haven't started again. But, I'm not going to be doing it for a while still. Mm-hmm.
Right.
So probably for these Auto Modelist magazines, since it's something new, I'll probably do something for them and see what happens, if it's okay with them.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But other than that,
something else for James to do. He's not busy enough. He should start writing reviews.
Oh my God, with that 3D stuff, dude. They keep telling me, why don't you go into this 3D? Says, there's no way I'm ever gonna go into this, man. I'm a builder. I'm not a 3D thing. If I start doing that 3D stuff, I'm not gonna go back to building. That's why I don't want to look to the side. Forget about that. That's just not for me, man.
Oh, you're willing to work with it though. I'm pretty sure that the last thing I saw on your Facebook was you buying stuff for that Alpha, the Tamiya Alpha stuff, the USCP.
Alpha?
Yeah, the Tamiya Alpha was that Alpha Julia, the USCP engine parts and stuff like that.
Yeah. I do. I love buying the stuff. You're not gonna see me buying the equipment to do it, but yeah, I don't mind spending the money on it. I'm not gonna mind that. I mean, you can't beat that. It's a blessing for us modelers, man. This 3D stuff. But yeah, James, you keep doing it, and let everybody else and Bill Gear and everybody else keep doing it. I'll just keep buying it. That's not for me. I mean,
All right, Marcos, I really appreciate you coming on tonight. Very active comment section there. All your fans are in there. I don't know if you've been able to see it or not, but again, really appreciate you coming on, sharing your techniques and your tips and stuff like that on painting.
Thank you.
Hope you guys, buying next month and then the coming months for me. And well, just hang on to James's channel, and I'm sure there will be resin printing shenanigans afoot.
Oh man!
Relatively shortly before the next project overtakes him and he has to build something else for somebody. So,
right.
Guys,
all right, for all the guys in the chat, thank you guys for watching, and salutations to everyone. I know I didn't take the time to probably read and answer each and every. And then it gets that's an impossibility, but thanks for watching, guys. I'm looking to the side there.
Okay, so That wraps up another episode of the Automotive Podcast. We appreciate everybody tuning in. We will be back in 2 weeks with
Mr. Bill Geary.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
So that'll be some modeling and a whole heck of me sitting here listening to 3D printing stories. I'm like Marcos. I'm like this close to tipping off the edge of buying something like that, and it's just like I know it's another hobby. I know it's another hobby. I see what it's done to.
You're not even going to be doing
this guy over here. I just. But there's so many.
If you do that, you're not even going to be able to do the podcast, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, exactly. Gas out my basement with the resin fumes.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys on the other side.
All right, guys. God bless you guys.
All right.
All right.
Bye.